Good afternoon. Welcome to the weekend general update for the 25th of November. And it was a very pivotal, very important night in the US on Friday night. We had clarification on both stocks and gold. So I think that might prove to be a pretty important line in the sand. So let's get on and have a look at the action. First of all, just a reminder, this is general advice only in this particular video. So the S&P in the end had a very good week, rose 50 points on the week, and that was with basically one full session lost and a part of a session lost as well. So that was a big week for the S&P. Now, as you'll see when we look at the chart, it's retraced precisely 50% of the level that the decline that had occurred from August, September, and that was really what I was looking for it to get up above the 38.2, but we'll have a look at that in just a minute. So whilst we are at another potential resistance point, the momentum from oversold has been very impressive. So it might pull back in the very short term, but I think the direction now is up. Now the S&P, the ASX 200 gained 7 points on the week. It had pretty lackluster days on Thursday and Friday, but I would imagine we'll play some significant catch up on Monday morning. And it was really across the board, the small increases that we had. It wasn't a lot, but it was pretty much across the board. And I think you can pretty much forget Thursday and Friday on the Australian market because there was no lead from overseas, and it was low volume type of trading action. So I don't think it's going to mean very much. The US dollar definitely rolled over, so it had gone up 50% and hit a key resistance level and rolled over. So I think that's important, and it's certainly good for stocks. And bond yields are still behaving themselves. Spanish yields back down to 5.5. Italians now still under 5, so that's all pretty good on that front. And I think people are breathing a little bit easier about what's happening in Europe. Now gold rose $40 on the week. A fair bit of that was on Friday night, had a very good session, and I've been looking for a close above 1735. It certainly did that, and it did it with some conviction. So hopefully gold is now off to the upside. This is the seasonally strongest time of the year from November through to February, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some good gains in gold. Copper rose a bit, so still very strong, up above 350, and oil was holding $88. Let's have a look at some charts. So we'll start first of all with the currencies. Importantly, this is US dollar index. Now we had a couple of retracement scales. One was the big picture retracement that started on the 24th of July. And the smaller one was the retracement of this level that started in August. We went through all of those levels, the smaller time frame ones, and we got to 50% level on the bigger picture time frame. The resistance we were expecting around about 81.41, and we hit a top of 81.45. And you can see rolled over significantly on Friday. So that is definitely very positive for stocks. Speaking of which, this is the S&P 500, and you can see we got down to this. We had support down here at 1345, so that was a retracement level. Sorry, let me just get that queued up again. That was a retracement level of the run from the 4th of June to the peak. So it's retraced exactly 61.8. It was 1346, and we did get to 1344. Got to oversold on the RSI, put in a big reversal. So I said at the time I thought that was the end of it, but I really needed to see it close above 1393, and as you can see, we blasted straight through 1393 on Friday night. The next level up was 1409, and that's exactly where it stopped. Now, after such a great run, could pull back a little bit, but I think there's so much momentum there now that I would expect that over the next month or so we may see the S&P challenging back up into the well up into the high 1400s. Now just looking at the VIX index as well, you can see in the last few days the VIX index has really fallen. It did get up to around 20 in the week before last, but plummeted back down to 15. So there's certainly no real fear in the US market at the moment. Now the Aussie market, the Aussie index, just for the record, we went down, we went up, but net didn't change a great deal on the week. But it's not really reflecting the broader market from my perspective. So we'll move on from there. The important chart is gold. We'll have a look at this on a daily chart. So I wanted to see, we retraced almost to the 1668 level. We did get to a low of 1672, so it got within $4 of the likely support area. We did get oversold, so everything was in place. We bounced back up to this level here, which was just popped up underneath the low of the 15th of October. Got rejected mildly from it, but as you can see, it didn't really want to be sold off. There's lots of buying support coming in, lots of long legs on these candles, and I was looking for a close above this high here, the highs that we saw here on the 11th and 12th of November. And you can see last night or Friday night it blasted through there. So I think we're off again in gold. Now just looking at silver as well, silver did extremely well. In fact, silver is outperforming gold now, and we'll have a look at a relative comparison chart on that shortly. But certainly silver had a pretty good night. Strong uptrend there. This is the HUI index, which is the stock index. Went a fraction below the support level, but has turned around pretty sharply from oversold and looks as though it's starting to head back up again. So good sentiment towards the gold stocks overseas. And let's have a look at a relative comparison chart between gold and silver. So you can see here silver in the blue, gold in the green. Silver dramatically underperforming back here through July, started to pick up in August, went straight past it. We got a little bit of, when we got a bit of a correction in gold, silver tends to amplify those moves, so it came back to about even rate with it. But now, as you can see in the last week or two, silver's really taken off again to the upside. So I think we're going to see some terrific gains in silver over the coming 6 to 12 months. So just in terms of, there's the copper chart back above $3.50. Looks as though it's bottomed out there, and that's certainly very healthy levels. Now looking at the overall strategy, it's unchanged. The strategy that I've been putting up for the last couple of months, there's really no changes needed. You still need to be highly selective. I've been saying it all through. This will not be a general rise in the market that'll take all stocks up. It'll be still a market for being very stock specific, and your focus should be on the premium gold producers and also non-resource businesses that have got really good financial performance over the long term. That's where your focus needs to be. Now just looking at it from a medium to longer term trading or investing point of view, and really in line with that theme that you've got to be selective, and I'm really using fundamentals to a far greater extent in conjunction with technical chart patterns than I have in the past, and it's certainly really paying dividends. So you really do need to pay attention to the actual fundamentals and try and get yourself into good stocks. So for me, for investors, there's an awful lot of things are lining up at the moment. It's the right time of the year, the patterns are right, and with the selection of the right sort of stocks, I think there's some terrific opportunities ahead. Now I have produced a video series. Some of you may have already started viewing that video series, but it really provides the pathway to far better returns. It's a 4-video series, and I'm going to put the link. If you click below this YouTube video, you'll find a link there which will take you to a video on how to select the very best companies and just how much impact the selection of those very good companies has compared to just buying the general run-of-the-mill household names. So that's it for this update. Looking forward to a pretty good period into Christmas. So that's it for this weekend. Cheers.